Hey there. Tonight, we're diving into a part of history that rarely gets the spotlight: the day-to-day lives of women working in Victorian brothels. Now, I know it's not your typical bedtime topic, but trust me, it's a raw, human story, and one worth remembering. And if you enjoy these journeys into forgotten corners of history, don't forget to like or subscribe. Also, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from and what time it is there. It's wild how people fall asleep to these all around the globe. Now then, find a cozy position. Take a deep breath. Let your body relax. We're heading back to the soot-covered streets of London, 1857. And by the time this story ends, you just might be a little more grateful for the mattress you're lying on. You've just opened your eyes in the early morning dimness of Victorian London. It's 5, maybe 6 a.m. There's a chill in the air, and you're not curled up in luxury. Instead, you're resting on a worn horsehair mattress, thin woolen blanket pulled tight around you. The bedsheets? Changed once a week at most. Faintly scented with cheap lavender water, trying and failing to mask the damp mustiness underneath. The room's cold. The fireplace? Empty. Coal is expensive, and heat is rationed. Faded floral wallpaper peels in the corners where moisture seeps through. Outside, the world is already alive. Horse hoofs clack over cobblestones, carts rattle past, and vendors shout into the morning haze. You're in the back of a brothel near Haymarket. It's not the worst place you could end up, but no one would call it high class. They call you Mary, not the name you were born with, but the one that stuck here. You've been in this house for nearly 2 years, long enough to see many faces come and go. Some women left for better opportunities, others faded away to illness, poverty, or silence. You sit up slowly. The cold floor bites at your bare feet. You reach for your shawl, worn but warm, and wrap it tightly around your shoulders. The ceramic basin between the beds holds water topped with a film of ice. You break it with your finger and splash your face, the shock jolting you fully awake. So, how did you end up here? Your story isn't dramatic. You weren't trafficked or seduced and abandoned, though many were. You were a seamstress, a good one. But in London, there were thousands like you, all chasing after scraps of work and wages barely enough to survive. Long hours, dim light, fingers cracked from cold, and nothing to show for it but exhaustion. At some point, you realized this couldn't go on. You remember that winter like it was yesterday. No food for days. Frosted breath indoors, numb fingers bleeding from sewing linen. And then Jane showed up, a girl you used to know. She looked different, warmer, well-fed, her wool dress simple but solid. She brought food, actual hot food, a meat pie. You ate like you hadn't in weeks. She watched you and finally said, "There's a place, a house off Haymarket. The madam runs it fair. 2 meals a day, a warm bed, medical checks. You'd earn in one night what you make in a week, Mary." You didn't say yes immediately, but the silence of your cold, empty room gave you your answer. Your breathing slows now. The house is waking up. Heavy footsteps on the stairs. Mrs. Winters, the housekeeper. You hear coal clattering into the fireplace downstairs. A kettle whistles. The scent of real coffee drifts up, a rare treat in this place. Your roommate, Lily, stirs beside you. She's younger, red hair the customers like. She came from the mills in Manchester, told you the looms left her half-deaf in one ear. Time to get up. There are rules here, routines. By noon, everyone must be presentable. The brothel runs with military precision. But right now, in this rare quiet moment, you allow yourself a pause. You warm a bit of beeswax between your palms and smooth it over your cracked lips. Another tiny comfort. And then the day begins.
Mrs. Cartwright often reminds the girls, you're not just selling yourself, you're selling an illusion. And she's right. Most of the gentlemen who visit aren't looking for reality. They're searching for a fantasy, an escape from the rigid expectations of their respectable lives. You nod at the thought. It's good advice. Stretching slowly beneath the low ceiling, you feel your joints loosen. The cotton nightdress brushes your ankles, plain and soft against your skin, so different from the silks and lace you wear for work. At the wardrobe, you select a modest dark blue dress, slightly faded but well kept. Discretion is essential. The brothel might be tolerated, even protected through quiet arrangements with the police, but public scandal is never safe. Dressing takes time. Stockings, petticoat, a loosely laced corset, enough for shape, not discomfort. As you dress, you think about what the day might bring. Tuesdays are quiet. Perhaps Mr. Phillips, the bank clerk with his endless talk of stamps, or the shy young man who never stays more than 15 minutes. From the street, sounds begin to rise, children running, a dog barking, and the rhythmic call of the knife grinder. Ordinary life continues just outside, while this hidden world exists parallel to it. Coalmen and breadmen come as they do to any house. Nothing outwardly reveals what happens inside these walls. You sit for a moment, inhaling deeply. A gentle knock. "Hot water, miss," says young Betsy. Just 13. Cartwright took her in off the streets. She cleans, helps the cook, and sleeps in a cupboard-sized room near the kitchen. For now, she's safe. For now. Betsy pours the steaming water. "Cold morning. Mrs. Winter says it might snow," she chirps. You thank her, ask if she's eaten. She has, porridge and tea. You're grateful again for this house. Not luxurious, but clean, fed, and warm. In poorer brothels, girls go hungry. Here, you're at least treated as human capital worth maintaining. Washing is slow, deliberate. Face, arms, body. Proper baths come twice a week. It's more than most working women can afford. Your hair, thick and dark, is brushed and pinned in a tidy knot. Later, you'll dress it with curls and pins. For now, simplicity. The mirror shows a healthier face than your seamstress days. Food and rest have softened your cheeks, but your eyes, they've changed. Wiser, sharper. You no longer carry the wide-eyed innocence of the country girl who first arrived in London. Lily, your roommate, stirs and yawns. "Had that dream again, the seaside one. You ever been, Mary?" "Once. Brighton. I was little. I want to go. They say the air's clean there, proper clean." A dream shared by many girls here. Leave London, start fresh. Some save enough, most don't. The money comes in and vanishes just as quickly. Lodging, clothes, small pleasures to make the work bearable. Even so, you encourage her. Keep saving. even a shilling a week. She nods, though you both know the truth. Life finds ways to empty every pocket. You lace your boots and stand. Time for breakfast.
The kitchen door stands slightly ajar, and from within spills a golden light, warm, inviting, like a lantern in fog. The hallway beyond remains shadowed, cool with the last whispers of night. But here, in this corner of the old house, morning has already begun to breathe. You hover for a moment at the threshold, soaking in the scene before you. The cook stands at the hearth, broad-shouldered and solid, moving with practiced ease as she tends to a heavy iron pan. Steam curls upward from a bubbling pot, catching the light in ghostly swirls. She doesn't glance your way. She doesn't need to. Her senses are honed, her instincts sharper than most. She knows who steps where, which floorboard creaks beneath whose foot. In the far corner of the room, young Betsy arranges the place settings on the long, scarred table where the staff and housemaids take their meals. Her fingers are nimble, her face still soft with sleep, and she hums under her breath, a tune without words, light and aimless. Near the window, Mrs. Winters sits in a high-backed chair, a folded letter trembling ever so slightly in her aging hands. Her spectacles rest delicately on the bridge of her nose, catching the light like glassy coins. Her hair, silvery and fine, is pinned with care beneath a linen cap. She reads slowly, lips just barely moving, as though savoring each line like a prayer. The room holds her stillness without protest. She is a fixture, a quiet steward of the morning. It is an ordinary moment, mundane really, but one stitched with the quiet magic of routine, of repetition, of belonging. The day hasn't yet made demands, it simply waits, stretching its limbs, blinking into consciousness. You draw in a deep breath, letting the warmth and scent of the kitchen fill your lungs. There's the unmistakable aroma of baking bread, flour, yeast, heat, and something almost sweet. Beneath that, the darker scent of wood smoke and the rich, salty perfume of bacon crisping in the pan. Your stomach stirs in response, a low growl reminding you that you've eaten nothing since last evening's supper. Slowly, your shoulders ease down. The tension of waking, of dressing in the early chill, begins to slip away. You step into the room at last, into its warmth, its rhythm, its quiet welcome. "Morning, Mary," the cook calls, her voice a low rumble softened by affection. She still doesn't turn. You smile, faintly amused by her uncanny sense. "Morning. Slept well enough," you reply, moving to Betsy's side and beginning to help with the table. The plates are heavy in your hands, chipped at the edges, but familiar. The cutlery clinks gently as you place each knife and fork with care, every movement part of a dance you've performed 100 times before. There is comfort in the repetition. The body remembers even when the mind drifts. Outside the windows, the city of London awakens by degrees. A church bell tolls the hour, muffled by distance, but clear enough to mark time. Somewhere down the street, a milk cart rattles over cobblestones. A paperboy shouts something indistinct. Neighbors exchange greetings in clipped voices. Children chase each other past iron fences and brick stoops. The symphony of the city begins, soft and slow like breath, rising, falling, swelling with each passing minute. You find yourself caught in its rhythm, lulled by it, in and out, like the tide, like the sea that Lily always dreams of, with waves that lap gently at sand-worn toes. She's never seen it, not once in her life, but she speaks of it often, as though the sea were an old friend waiting patiently beyond the smog and stone. The cook lifts a loaf from the oven, its crust golden, blistered just enough to crackle as it cools. She sets it beside the other breakfast preparations: boiled eggs, stewed tomatoes, a fresh slab of butter glistening on a plate. The smells are stronger now, richer, as if the very walls of the kitchen are waking up too. The kitchen table stretches out before you, long and rectangular, worn down by years of use. Its surface is pocked with knife marks and stains that no scrubbing can remove. But it holds the history of the household, the laughter of staff meals, the hurried lunches between chores, the whispered gossip passed like secrets in the quiet hours between shifts. And now, with the morning sun creeping higher in the sky and the sounds of life gathering outside, you realize you are part of this rhythm, this order, this sacred unspoken ritual of beginning. You place the last spoon beside its plate, straighten the cloth, and glance at the others. They do not speak, but there's a shared understanding in the air. One more day is about to unfold. Not remarkable, perhaps, but necessary.
You settle into your usual seat in the sitting room, keeping the respectful distance expected in a well-run house. The chair welcomes you with its smooth, time-worn surface, shaped by the presence of many before you. There's comfort in that shared history, a quiet sense of belonging. You lean back slightly, the wood firm and familiar beneath you. Cook arrives with a steaming pot of porridge, placing it firmly at the center of the table. The aroma is rich, creamy oats simmered in milk, lightly sweetened with a touch of treacle. It's one of those small indulgences that sets this place apart from the more meager establishments. "Eat while it's warm," she says, her face flushed from the kitchen heat. She's a woman in her 50s, widowed, who found her way here after hardship. She rarely speaks of the house's business, just cooks, keeps to herself, and ensures everyone eats well. She believes firmly, good food builds strong girls. You ladle a generous serving into your bowl. The steam curls upward, carrying with it the comforting scent of breakfast. The first spoonful is hot and thick, soothing as it spreads across your tongue. You close your eyes for a moment, savoring it, the simplicity, the warmth. Gradually, the other girls join. Emily arrives first, small and fair-haired, with quiet footsteps. Then Sarah, a composed woman nearing 30, sharp with numbers and trusted by Mrs. Cartwright to help with the books. Josephine follows, still new to the house, her eyes red-rimmed more often than not. Finally, Lily slips in, hair hastily pinned, clearly just out of bed. She sinks into the chair beside you as Mrs. Winters begins pouring coffee. "Barely made it," you whisper, passing the porridge. "Worth it for 10 more minutes of sleep," she replies, offering a faint grin. The coffee is another rare treat. Strong, brewed from proper beans, not the roasted chicory that most working-class homes rely on. You cradle the cup in both hands, letting the warmth soak into your fingers. The aroma is bold, the taste bittersweet and grounding. It's cozy. It's real. Breakfast passes mostly in silence. An unspoken rule discourages talk of business this early. Instead, chatter flits around harmless topics: the weather, a clumsy delivery boy, idle speculation about the greengrocer's wife. Just ordinary talk, the kind that echoes around breakfast tables all over London. That normality matters. It's a reminder that this place isn't just a workplace, it's also home. A place of daily rhythms, shared meals, and quiet moments of rest. You feel your body begin to relax, tension melting from your shoulders. The food settles warmly in your belly, lending you strength for what lies ahead. One last sip of coffee, and then the day begins. There's a schedule here, tight and efficient. Every girl has her duties, not just to keep the house running, but because Mrs. Cartwright believes in structure, in order, in the kind of discipline that keeps chaos at bay.